Hi everyone. Thanks for tuning into my channel. I'm Kidest, and this is where I share tips, insights, guidance, valuable tools, techniques, and practices you can take on to, create and experience a more satisfying and fulfilling life. I teach everything from manifestation and co-creation to personal development, and as you'll learn in this post, emotional intelligence. Now, for those of you who are, existing subscribers, I have a positive emotional intelligence course, and in that course, I don't actually teach the general framework of emotional intelligence. In my positive emotional intelligence course, the focus is on using your developed skills of self-awareness and self-regulation to take your personal transformation capacity to the next level, essentially. In this post, I want to give that general understanding of the emotional intelligence framework so that if you are new to that framework, if you are new to that approach, you can begin to really make use of the valuable understanding that's present in that framework to begin to improve your personal and professional relationships, your experiences of yourself, your ability to handle your emotions, your ability to expertly handle conflict or friction in your relationships and the like. So this is a primer, a basic primer on the emotional intelligence framework. If you've not heard of it before, it was developed decades ago by Daniel Goleman. Typically, it's taught and understood within the framework or context of the workplace, how emotional intelligence makes for great leadership skills, how it can enhance workplace culture. But when you look at the competencies of emotional intelligence, and I'll speak to what they are, what you gain is life skills. So if you are a personal development enthusiast, if you like self-improvement, if you're someone who's into peak performance or, actualizing your full potential as a human being, the emotional intelligence competencies are invaluable skills. They will help you in your personal life, your goal pursuit activities. They will help you in your relationships, in your personal, familial, intimate relationships, and they will help you also within your career, professional, and workplace ambitions. So they are skills you develop that can positively enhance your life experience. So I'll get to what those competencies are and give you that primer and hopefully inspire you to, pursue developing your emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence is an understanding of human behavior, human cognition that would belong in the growth mindset understanding of human experience, which is essentially that you can develop your skills of self-awareness, you can develop your skills of emotion regulation, you can develop your communication skills, you can develop your ability to expertly manage relationships. So it's a developmental perspective, and those are my personal favorite because they speak to your ability to improve your experiences throughout your lifespan. So there are a number of different competencies. I'll speak to the main four. Depending on what versions of the emotional intelligence framework you explore, you may see 5 or 6 additional competencies, but they typically belong into these 4 quadrants. So the first quadrant is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the basis of your self-knowledge. It's what allows you to understand yourself, know your needs, define and understand and uphold your values, know your preferences, know basically, the things that make you tick, if you will, what your motivations are, what your ambitions are, your awareness of your internal experience and your responses to the environment, to your relationships, all of that, your awareness of how you show up and how you experience life is that first competency that you begin to develop. You begin to, you know, put to practice these skills of self-reflection, these skills of self-inquiry, if you will, inquiring into your own experience to understand what you are experiencing? What are you feeling in the moment? What are your thoughts saying in the moment? How are your responses coming up for you as you're going about living your, life experience? So self-awareness speaks to your ability to know yourself in full. So not only are you aware of, your physical characteristics, but you're aware of your cognitive habits, your emotional habits. You begin to really get to know how you show up in that multifaceted way a human being can show up in life. So self-awareness is that first competency that you begin to develop. And you do that by taking on mindfulness practices or journaling practices, things that allow you to sort of pause and check in with yourself and go, hey, what do I think about this? How do I feel about this? How am I feeling about this? What would I, prefer here? What are my values here? What are my preferences here? Hey, why did I say that thing the way I said it to that person? So you really expand your awareness to observe and sort of make use of your metacognitive abilities, your ability to think about your thinking, your ability to think about your behaviors, your ability to sort of self-assess to better understand who you are in the moment, and if that who you are in the moment is aligning with who you want to be in your interactions and in your life. So self-awareness is that first competency, and it involves a number of different skills that allow you to know yourself, that allow you to have that self-knowledge. The second competency, or the second quadrant of skills that you develop are self-regulation skills. So self-regulation includes emotion regulation, and how I present the emotional intelligence framework. I also talk about cognitive self-control. So directing your thinking, directing your emotions, managing, understanding them, being able to name your emotions, being able to sort of look at your own thought patterns and go, is that useful? Does that serve me? Does that make me more productive? Is that, supporting my ability to achieve my goals, realize my dreams, or, whatever way you want to evaluate your cognitive habit? Self-regulation is where you begin to do that. You begin to exercise your ability to say yes and no to your own behaviors, to your own emotional habits, and begin to create some really valuable strategies to manage your inner life. So that self-regulation competency is really also the basis of effective self-transformation, what allows you to change your habits, what allows you to change your emotional baselines, what allows you to change your thought patterns, your beliefs, your interpretation habits, and all of that good stuff that I talk about frequently here. That comes from developing your ability to self-regulate, regulate your cognitions, regulate your emotions, take on some mindfulness practices, and really begin to embody and experience your ability to master your emotions and sort of mental life, if you will. So that's the second quadrant, and the set of competencies you develop in that quadrant allow you to self-regulate. When you really develop that skill, you can wow yourself in how you can show up in just about any situation. You're more in integrity with your values, you have more self-control, you have more sort of regulated ability to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. So there are a number of really useful skills that can, really transform how you show up in your life. And even when it comes to goal pursuits and manifesting your intentions, you need a certain degree of self-regulation that helps you stay committed, that helps you persist, that helps you maintain momentum, that helps you stay productive. All of that comes from that second competency of self-regulation skills. The third competency, or the third quadrant, is your social awareness. This is how you are present with others in your life, your ability to be aware of other people's needs, understand their emotions, understand where they're coming from, understand their perspectives. Social awareness is that skill that allows you to be present to who other people are, as different from you, as similar to you, in whatever context you frame it. Social awareness is what allows you to really understand the humanity of others and be present to them. And social awareness can include the competency of empathy. There are a number of different skills that you can develop to really have that skill of social awareness work for you in a beneficial way. That includes things like compassion, things like empathy, I mentioned, skills that allow you to be present to others from a more respectful and healthy place. This includes your ability to set and maintain healthy boundaries can be part of that social awareness skill, or the fourth quadrant, which is the relationship management skill. So the fourth quadrant is relationship management. So in the third quadrant, you're developing your skill of being aware of others, what they need, what they want, what their values are, recognizing that it's necessary to have that skill of social awareness to develop healthy, enjoyable relationships. Relationships are an ever-present part of life, whether we're talking about personal life or professional life. That is a, you know, ever-present fact of reality is human relationships, regardless of what sphere of experience we're talking about. So social awareness allows you to have that kind of knowledge of others take shape in an accurate and respectful way. And then relationship management is where, you develop skills like communication skills. That's the fourth quadrant or the fourth set of competencies you develop. Respectful communication, nonviolent communication, developing your ability to expertly express yourself and also, have the listening skills in place to be able to understand others and their expressions, their needs, values, and wants, and healthy boundary setting that would belong in the relationship management competencies set of skills. So the four quadrant model, there are other models that sort of branch out motivation and empathy into their own sort of competencies, but I like the simple four competencies framework that just sort of groups the different skills that you can develop into those four quadrants of self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. So that's just a basic primer of the skills that the numerous skills you can develop by really exploring and, putting to practice what you gain from this framework. It's a valuable framework. It can enhance your personal and professional life in a measured way. There's tons of research showing how developing your emotional intelligence increases your productivity, increases your performance in life and work. It can mean, more promotions, more success outcomes because you are showing up expertly managing yourself and managing the relationships that, are around you. So that is the sort of basic layout of the emotional intelligence framework. Now, in my positive emotional intelligence course, I specifically focus on using those first two quadrants of self-awareness and self-regulation to take your ability to self-transform to that level where you're increasing the frequency of positive emotions in your life. And the benefits of increasing the frequency of positive emotions in your life are manyfold for your physical health, for your mental health, for your relationships, for your success outcomes. So that is the direction I encourage you to go, that once you've developed those basic competencies and have gained a certain level of expertise or even mastery in those four quadrants, then the next step would be to begin to use your skills to increase how often you feel good by using those skills of self-awareness and emotion regulation and cognitive self-control and the like, because the benefits of increasing your, how often you feel good through self-regulation, through emotion regulation and the like, are the kind of outcomes that take your life experience to the next level. So that is a basic primer on emotional intelligence and a brief overview of my positive emotional intelligence course. Stay tuned to this channel right here for more personal development, self-growth, self-improvement, and manifestation mastery discussions. If you enjoyed this tip on deliberate creation, personal development, consciousness evolution, be sure to visit my website for books, courses, and more to help you in your personal development and personal transformation journey.